entwined. Tune in now, leave reality behind. Let's face gloom and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. No mercy, no light, only raw might. Prepare your soul for an endless night. Let the tale unfold. The maze fix is here, time to break the chains. Your mind will melt, can't escape these flames. The maze fix, gloom and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. Streams of power, darkness entwined. Tune in now, leave reality behind. Let's face gloom and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. Streams of power, darkness entwined. Tune in now, leave reality behind. Let's face gloom and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide.
They hear from Donald Trump, the more they are turned off by him. And so they are doing this to help him, which, boy, he needs a lot of help because, like I call him out for that.
That understand the importance of caring and kindness, who understand the importance of having a leader who speaks truth and is not so self-consumed. You know, I keep talking about somebody needs to just watch his rallies if you're not really sure how to vote. Because he spends full time talking about himself and mythical characters, not talking about the working people, not talking about you, not talking about lifting you up. And so as we spend these next 17 days, we're gonna go vote today. We're gonna remind people to vote. We're gonna register folks to vote. We're gonna email, text, phone call, knock on doors. And we're gonna remind people of what is at stake.
Kamala Harris is spot on, and she is really spot on tonight, considering how crazed this rally got, the things that Donald Trump talked about, and of course the thing that we can't say, but he did, that he wanted to talk about during this rally. And it was so bad, it was so full of rambling nonsense, anger, and fear-mongering that even Fox, yes, even the Fox propaganda outlet, couldn't take it and had to cut him off. And we can see that right here.
What a great man. I said, Arnold.
Latrobe, Pennsylvania is an area that Donald Trump won in 2016. He is there holding one of his signature rallies.
I used to think that Fox was cutting Donald Trump off in a spiteful way, but then I realized, as we can clearly tell, they're doing it to try to help preserve him. They know if their listeners, who are still a lot of soft Republicans and independents who don't yet know who they're voting for in this election, the more they hear from Donald Trump, the more they are turned off by him. And so they are doing this to help him, which, boy, he needs a lot of help because, like I said, this rally was insane. He wasn't just talking about the size of things that we can't talk about on YouTube, but also rambling about the size of his rallies, as we can see right here.
Butler, Pennsylvania, we had 101,000 people. It was unbelievable. What a night that was. And we're honoring.
He is so obsessed and he is so insecure. That's what it all is from Donald Trump. It is the insecurity that drives him crazy. It's why this is his focus. It's why he continues to attack Kamala Harris for having, in his words, in his lying words, a low IQ, because he knows what is true about him and that he's not smart and that his rallies are getting smaller, that his ratings are lower and his poll numbers are sinking. And that is why he is freaking out so much. And that's why he's talking about certain downstairs things. But before we get into that, I think we need to hear what has clearly spurred on Donald Trump to talk about the size of certain parts of the body. And that was President Obama's incredible joke at the DNC right here.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Donald Trump very clearly still has and always will have this image, a little insinuation there by President Obama in his mind. It's driving him crazy, clearly leading him to be thinking about that, the size of certain members, to put it so delicately, a lot. And that is exactly what Donald Trump wanted to talk about in his rally in Pennsylvania, bringing up the golfer Arnold Palmer to start talking about his, let's take a look.
But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. His man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here.
We are less than 20 days out from this election, and Donald Trump is spending time at his rallies talking about the size of Arnold Palmer's stuff. What is happening? Oh my, this is a deranged individual. That's why we had to start with that clip of Kamala Harris saying, Just watch his rallies. They are absurd. They are out of control. They are angry. They are ridiculous. Just take a look at this clip right here.
Kamala Harris, that you've had enough, that you just can't take it anymore. We can't stand you. You're a shit vice president. The worst. You're the worst vice president. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out.
Oh, I love the new Republican straight, because like his supporters have to do everything he does. They have to ape him and mimic him in every way. So since he started doing this rock solid genius strategy of nuh-uh, you are, I'm rubber, you're glue, they do it too. So I mean, literally, like, oh my God. He literally painted his face shit brown. But let's say he pulled a turd out of the back of his pants and started eating it. 5 minutes later, social media would be filled with all these accounts saying, Kamala eats her own poop on stage. Oh.
Out of here. Get the hell out of here, Kamala.
Who would want to vote for this guy? He is out of control. He is angry. He is aggrieved. He is more dangerous than ever. And as we've talked about on this show, even if Donald Trump is unable to fulfill the job of president, if he were to win, what's the backup plan? J.D. Vance. That might be even a scarier alternative. We have to make sure that neither of those incredibly dangerous individuals get anywhere near the White House. And
if we could get a legitimate, unbiased doctor to examine him, I swear to you, they would come back and tell us that he has the intellect of a 9-year-old.
Not just Democrats saying this. There are so many Republicans who are coming out in support of Kamala Harris, and a lot of them are former Trump officials like General Mark Milley, who is the head of Donald Trump's Joint Chiefs of Staff, who, of course, Donald Trump is furious with and attacked right here.
He's just a basic, stereotypical,
These stupid
racist, misogynistic, bigoted moron who was raised by a trashy, shitty, misogynistic, racist, bigoted moron.
people like Milley, General Milley. Remember his performance in Congress? General Milley and Mattis, all these guys, what a bunch of lightweights. But we have...
He continues to go after those in his administration who have...
And proof that he has the intellect of a 9-year-old. Look at how he gets stuck on names. And General Milley, General Milley, Milley, General Milley, Milley, General Milley, Kamala, Kamala, Barack Hussein, Hussein, Barack Hussein, Hussein. Smart people don't behave that way. Really dumb, like 6-year-olds and adults who have the mentality of a 6-year-old. That's who behaves that way.
Have called him out because, like we've said so many times, he is insecure and he knows that they're right about how dangerous he is. And he knows how bad it makes him look when he praised himself as the guy who was gonna pick him the best. He knows the best people, quite frankly, the best. And now those best people are turning on him. Why? Because he is a dangerous threat to not just our democracy, and they clearly saw that, but to the globe. Marco Rubio, who was on the short list of Donald Trump's VP selections this year, still doesn't believe he should have the nuclear codes. And he's supporting it.
I grew up, I didn't have a father in the house. My parents divorced when I was 2. I met my dad once for about a month. But I did have a lot of people around me. A stepfather, my grandparents, teachers, coaches, most of all my mom, who taught me the difference between right and wrong. Showed me what it meant to have integrity, to be honest, to be responsible, to work hard, to treat other people the way I wanted to be treated. And most of you grew up the same way. And I'll tell you the truth. You know, when I was a teenager, young adult, I didn't always live up to those values. I made mistakes, but I tried to learn from them. And as I got older, I continued to benefit from people who reinforced those values. Obviously, my wife, Michelle,
Damn, I
but
do
also
think
friends and neighbors and coworkers. And I'll give you an example. Being here in Vegas makes me think about my friend Harry Reid, who was the president of the Senate for a long time. And he was a proud Democrat. He didn't shy away from bare-knuckle politics. Right? One day, a staffer handed him a draft of remarks in which he referred to himself as a former boxer, and he was editing it, and he crossed out former. He was a tough guy. He was 70 years old at the time, but he refused to see politics as
Crossed
just
out
this
the
battle
word
between
former.
good and evil. He'd work with Republicans. He'd work with people who didn't agree with him. He understood we're all a bundle of contradictions. We all got flaws, but despite our individual differences, it's our collective humanity, what we have in common, that makes a difference. That's what makes a country great. The point is, he had values, he had character. One of the most disturbing things about this election, about Trump's rise in politics, we seem to have set aside
he has
the
made
values
his rise on
that
lack
so many of us were
of
told.
character.
A few weeks
He
ago,
has
one of the
made his
deadliest hurricanes
rise.
in American history.
His entire
President
platform
Biden,
is based
Vice
on
President Harris,
weakness
they're
and
down,
whining
meeting with
and
local officials,
crying
comforting
and
families, making sure aid is in place. Donald
bearing
Trump and his
false
running mate
witness, accusing,
made up
cheating.
stories about the Biden administration withholding aid, giving it to undocumented immigrants, not giving it to Republicans.
Lying
making this stuff up.
constantly. They just make whatever up.
Even Republicans on the ground, even MAGA Republicans on the ground, said it wasn't true. So my question is,
Donald
when did that
Trump
become okay? How
would
can it be
hold up
okay? I don't,
a red
it doesn't
brick
matter where you stand
and
on
claim
the
it's a
issues.
yellow hat
Doesn't matter
and
what your
expect you to
party
go
is.
along with it.
That kind
Like
of
that thing in the
behavior
Taming of the Shrew.
is not okay.
When
If
he
your
refers to the
coworkers
sun as the
acted
moon,
like
he
that,
expects everyone to go
they
along
wouldn't
with
be
it.
your coworkers very long. If you had a family member like that, you might still love them, but you wouldn't put them in charge of nothing.
Fuck no, you wouldn't.
And yet, when Donald Trump repeatedly lies or cheats or shows utter disregard for our Constitution or just insults people, when he calls service members who died in battle losers, or fellow citizens vermin, or the enemy within, people make excuses for it. They say, well, he's not serious.
He didn't mean it.
He's
That's not what he said. No, here
Everything
he
a
is saying
president
it.
says
No, he
is
didn't mean
serious. Everything
Well, then
that
why did he say
somebody's
it?
aspiring
If he
to
didn't mean it,
office
why did he say it?
is listened to. And people make excuses for it. They think, well, it's funny, or it's okay as long as our side wins.
Yep. That's
And I've
MAGA
noticed
Republicans.
this especially among some men who seem to think Trump's behavior of bullying people or putting them down is somehow macho sign of strength. I'm telling you, that's not what real strength is. Never has been. Real strength's working hard. Real strength's carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions. Real strength is telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping those who have less or need some help, standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That's what we should want in our sons and our daughters. That's what I want to see in the President of the United States. And the good news is, you have candidates to vote for in this election that have demonstrated that kind of character, who know what real strength looks like, who will set a good example and do the right thing and leave this country better for it. Nevada, that's the choice in this election. It's not just policies on the ballot. It's about who we are and what we stand for. So whether this election is making you feel excited or scared or hopeful or frustrated or anything in between, do not sit back and hope for the best. Get off your couch and vote. Put down your phone and vote. Vote for Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States. And Tim Walz is the next Vice President of the United States. Vote for Jackie Rosen and this whole incredible Nevada Democratic ticket. Help your friends and family and neighbors and co-workers do the same. Because if enough of us make our voices heard, we will leave no doubt about the outcome of this election. We will leave no doubt about who we are and what America stands for. And together we will keep building a country that is more fair and more just and more equal and more free. That is our job, Nevada. Let's go get it.
Let's say Trump were to win and come into office this year.
Oh, did you guys feel that? I just got like a real... Did you feel that? The hair come up? Did anybody feel that? Was that me?
Let's say Trump were to win and come into office this year.
Oh, did you guys feel that? I just got like a real... Did you feel that? The hair come up? Did anybody... Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the main event is here. We are so excited today. We've got Oren Cass, chief economist for American Compass, a think tank on economic policy and those things, and Zachary Carter, author of The Price of Peace.
I saved $700 with Liberty Mutual. Crazy what you can get with those savings.
Oh, I hate the heroes people. I wish if I could push a button that would make that company and the people working there not exist, I would.
With Jack Cartwheel for the first time. Cartwheel's normal tag team partner, Frank Forward Roll.
As well as the person who sold them all that ad space.
Two newest acquisitions, Don Callis, would you stop giggling for a second? One of them is, of course, a champion, the Ring of Honor World Television Champion.
Brian Cage, a fantastic athlete. What I have instilled in Brian Cage is a nastiness that was missing and is here on display tonight. Look at that.
A great legacy with the Ring of Honor TV title. Some incredible competitors holding it in the past. Samoa Joe, no less.
He could walk into the Olympia and win it tomorrow, in my opinion.
Jack Cartwheel tried his best to get out of the way, but he could not. And there is a massive deal to maybe bring in John Cruz, who's not so sure.
Yeah, John Cruz too smart to tag into this. Like getting the rental car, head to the airport.
Oh, Cage made the tag for him. Come on in, John Cruz.
Cage is certainly helpful if he's nothing else.
Just take a look
at this.
At the size of this tag team that you got.
Go and chop the side of a battleship and it had the same effect.
Cage will send John Cruz in. Gowan Gary, a pickup. John Cruz is in a bad way here. The Mohawk Monster!
Someone needs to call the police, an ambulance, a fire department, I don't know what.
Lance Archer decimated John Cruz.
If I was capable of empathy, I would feel very bad for John Cruz right now, Shivani.
You've even given Lance Archer kind of a new look here. Rugged, rough. Family in action, and We are going to see our AEW Women's Championship Eliminator match tonight. The Glamour Mariah May against Anna Jay, who earned her shot.
Rocket launcher.
Yeah. Silver.
Team partner for 17 years. He's always stood by his side. If there's an ounce of energy in his body, he's going to get in there.
Had a pump kick to send Wheeler Yuta out. He's fighting off two men while holding on to his ribs with his left arm. And there it gets wiped out. Alex Reynolds cannot take this. Is on. And back-to-back wins through violence, through intimidation.
Competitors from the locker room time and again. But every time.
Cover John Silver, 1, 2. Oh, Evil Uno finally rolled in. Pounds on Wheeler Yuta, but they're just being outnumbered here. Look at the smile, the maniacal smile, the evil smile on the face of John Moxley.
And still, the AEW World Trio.
From the locker room time and again. But every time the onslaught, no matter how impressive, has been stopped in its tracks.
How about that? Meanwhile, Dunsaw of John Silver.
I told you there'd be injuries.
And now coming out, Private Party, Daniel Garcia, and calmly away.
In the mix. With Orange Cassidy joining the mix.
Cassidy out, surveys the situation, walks calmly away, and really just a stunned group in the ring. I don't get this at all, to be honest with you. Neither do Private Party and Daniel Garcia. Fans, coming up next, Kazuchika Okada defends the Continental title against Kyle O'Reilly on Battle of the Bell.
What's so special about Hero Bread's soft, fluffy, and delicious bread,
It's like-
buns, and tortillas? Hero Bread.
A judge handing Elon Musk a series of favors.
Elon Musk looks like if the people who did Aqua Teen Hunger Force created a character that was like an evil mayonnaise jar. There you go. You'd just be a big jar with Elon's face. Kind of like how Frylock is like a disembodied head that's also a thing of fries. But like, yeah, it would be an evil mayonnaise jar. Yep. In favor of Musk. It's always in favor of Musk. In favor of Musk. In favor of Musk. Okay. Slava Ukraini. Oh, Henry Winkler. Special thanks to Lionel Richie and Henry Winkler. That's awesome. Let's definitely do that. Sprinting, analyzing, up and inning. There is no left. The left trigger is not even used. That's funny. Okay. Oh yeah, I've got that. I've got that. And I've got that. What is that? Is that just everything? I gotta see what that is. What is that? Okay. So there's a Sherlock Holmes game called The Sinking City. No, I don't think it's Sherlock Holmes. It's just, or is it? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I got the Whispered Dreams add-on though. Yes, I did. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure, but there's a thing called The Sinking City. But I've got all those. Oh my god! I got it all. That's not good. I don't remember Sherlock Holmes being afraid of water.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
Welcome to the game. Set to move around. bad tint interacts with objects.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming.
They are coming. The bodyguard will be located. See, a striker representing the Scandinavian people. A man like that gets noticed whether by his peers, generals, knowledgeable Fahrenheit, and gals who comfort them.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
No getting dressed before we go out. And dress friendly, more appropriate. Open the casebook, navigate to the wardrobe. Okay. Ugly beige suit. The worst suit in the game. Just awful. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oops. There we go. other people's stuff, Watson's stuff. Oh.
Don't look at me. If you want the newspaper, you'll have to get your hands dirty.
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness. Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you?
Missing copy. It's been in kex by 6 sheets. Suspension remove. Disposed of it. Okay. Hi. We're just just around the corner.
Okay, perhaps from Cordona. How about that Vogel fellow? He seems rather obsessed with you. Would he do something like this?
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here. Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
Any breaking news today?
The dog accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes, yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson.
Sure, now I can take the day off.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin. Looks can deceive, hence the appeal of disguises. Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there was a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears, if you have more shillings.
Christian, open the case, please.
Get the Strand. Get you.
Who ruined the Strand? Tuesday says Canadian. This morning, astronomers delivered an album. Just around the corner.
Copy
Now,
of the
Mr.
Strand
Holmes'
here.
murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his
Contained evidence
scruples.
for the information.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Why go through all this scheming to murder you? A spy
Get the
stuck to the
Strand. Get
newspaper
your
is
copy
hardly
of the
a thief.
Strand here.
Can I ask you a question?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
That's crazy.
Is this familiar to you?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another.
The effects of overwork. Paper ink. Heavily on right leg, sore left leg. Ooh, dirty shoes. He's wearing heels. Wants to tell her. This runs develop limp his large bag under his eyes. Even if the on in a bigger plan without his knowledge. That might be a plot against me. Yeah, no.
Mr. Barnes, a word. Ah, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out. The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. The finest view London has to offer.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily. I know, not very original.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin?
Yes.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Avoids eye contact or distract. Make makeup, beauty or Roach. Bring the neck. Yep. And shoes.
My condolences, Mrs. Fleming.
Mr. Holmes?
Your husband's death. You're clearly still in mourning.
Oh, no. I loved him more than anything, of course, but that was some time ago now. Life goes on.
A lesson we all learn, one way or another. I'll be off.
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I don't know anything about this, sorry.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break. afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face. I should have worn something warmer.
Oh my god. I'm gonna switch to the other Sherlock. Do Sherlock chapter 1 first. Then do the Awakened. Maybe. Let's try again.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
So... I'm so observant I didn't see the papers
This
on the table.
mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
I'm close, I know it. I just need one more piece to crack the case. Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
No, I really, I